Hey guys, welcome back to my channel Sarthak Commerce Wala. So today in this video, I'm going to discuss a very important topic of company law, that is kind of company. So if you go on YouTube, then you will not be getting a video by which you can get the wholesome view about the types of companies, but I try my best to provide you the best content from my side, and maybe I'll upload more videos about the types of companies, because there are lots of types of companies which you will have to study for your company law, and this is totally according to your syllabus. So don't worry about that I'm going to teach you anything apart from your syllabus. No, you don't have to take care about that. Just what you have to do is you have to study and work hard on your studies and see the video again and again, depending upon how much time it will take to actually understand all these types of company. So let's get started. So first of all, I'm going to start with the types of company. So majorly the company is divided into two types of category. So basically there are two types of company. First is statutory company and second is registered company. Now first we are going to start from statutory company. What is the meaning of statutory company? So statutory companies are those companies which are formed by a special act passed in the parliament or passed by the state or central legislature, which means that company formed by a special act of central or state legislature, which means company which is formed by a special act of parliament. And these are those types of companies which are not registered under any Indian Companies Act. So which means these companies are those companies which are formed by passing a special act by the parliament. And therefore the second point is very correlated to that these statutory companies are governed and regulated by those act by which these companies were established. So which means there is no provision and no role of Companies Act 2013 to regulate these types of companies, because these companies are not formed under that law. Okay. The third point is, what is the main motive? So the main motive of statutory company is to earn profit by which they can serve the society and by which they can serve the people. The fourth point is that the liability of the members within the statutory company is limited. So which means the members who are related or who are connected with the statutory company have limited liability. For a statutory company, it is not mandatory to put limited behind their name, because this is not actually lie under the Companies Act or Indian Companies Act. So it is not mandatory for statutory company. Sixth is that the audit of statutory company is done by Controller and Audit General of India. And who is this? This is the head of all the auditors, which means a government, generally there is an auditor which is hired or appointed by government, who get the designation of CAGI, who do all the audits of these types of statutory company which are formed by the Act of Parliament. And Bhaiya, please give us example of statutory company. So absolutely. So there are some examples of statutory company like RBI. RBI is not made by the regulations of any Indian Companies Act. It is formed by the parliament by passing a special act. So RBI is a statutory company, and along with that SBI as well. So this is a very clear and crisp example of the statutory company. Now let's move on to the second type of company, which is registered company. Now registered companies are those companies which are established under any Indian Companies Act. So you can simply say that all the companies which are registered under any Indian Companies Act are known as registered companies. These companies are governed and directed by the Indian Companies Act 2013, because it is the current Companies Act which is regulated and implemented in India for all the companies and corporate sectors. So therefore I mentioned here that 2013. Okay. And third one is that registered companies have further bifurcation as well, which means these registered companies have further subdivisions which you need to study, in which you are going to get some more types of companies as well. So let's jump on to those bifurcations. Now we are going to study about that how many types of subdivided registered companies are there. So majorly there are two types of subdivisions in registered company. First is limited company and second is unlimited company. Now what is the meaning of limited company? As by its name we can correlate its meaning as well, that limited company is a type of company in which the liability of the members are limited. While at the same point, unlimited company is a type of company in which the liability of the members is unlimited. Now, these limited and unlimited companies are also subdivided within private company and public company. So which means you don't have to take care about that what Bhaiya is telling us now. Which means you need to understand one thing, that of course there is a further subdivision within limited company, but in both limited and unlimited company, private and public company are included, which means private and public company are there either in the limited company or in unlimited company, both. Okay, so you need to understand that. But let's talk about the further subdivision of limited company. So limited company is divided in two types: limited by shares and limited by guarantee. Now maybe you are getting some view about those two types as well. Okay, but let's first understand that both limited and unlimited company have a private company as well as a public company. So don't confuse yourself and put yourself within a dilemma that private and public company are the bifurcations of which category. So private and public company are there within limited company and unlimited company as well. Okay, but let's talk about the main subdivisions of limited company, that what is the meaning of limited by shares and what is the meaning of limited by guarantee. So let's get started. So the meaning of limited by shares, but before starting with the meaning, let's also discuss that according to which particular section it is defined within the Companies Act 2013. So limited by share is defined as per section 2 subsection 22 of the Companies Act 2013, but this definition is not according to this section, remember that. So what is limited by shares? By the name of this company we can simply understand that limited by share is a type of company in which the liability of the shareholder is limited to the extent of their invested amount within the company, which means how much a shareholder is providing share capital to a company, to that much amount only the shareholder is liable in terms of the liability. Okay, and majorly if any part of that share capital is unpaid by the shareholder, so to that amount of extent only the shareholder is liability. Let's read the definition as well. Liability of member is limited up to the extent of unpaid on the shares held by the members, which means how much amount is unpaid on the shares by the shareholders, they are just liable for that much liability only. Let's take a practical example as well. Let's say this is a ABC Limited company who issue 10,000 shares, and ABC Limited company is a limited by share company. How? Let's understand with this example. So ABC Limited issue 10,000 shares, and now a member, which means A, who actually subscribe for 100 shares within ABC Limited company, which means now A has the liability for 1000 rupees only, because one share consists of 10 rupee each, and if you multiply 10 into 100, then which means A has to pay the share capital of 1000 rupee to ABC Limited. So therefore A is just liable to the extent of 1000 rupees only. But within that as well, A paid 6 rupee, which means that A pay almost 600 rupees from those 1000 rupee which A has to give to ABC Limited as share capital. So now this 600 are already paid by A. Now the remaining amount within each share value is 4 rupee, and on 100 share A has to pay, and A is liable to pay 400 rupees still. So that 400 rupee is the liability of A. So therefore we can understand that ABC Limited company is a limited by share company. Therefore A is only liable to the extent of unpaid share capital amount. Okay, understood. Let's jump on to the next subdivision of limited company, that is limited by guarantee. Now, before understanding that what is the meaning of limited by guarantee, we need to understand first that what is the meaning of guarantee here. So guarantee is refers to the amount which a member promised to pay as a liability from his or her side at the time of winding up only, which means what is guarantee? So guarantee is the amount of money which the member of the company promised to the company that I'm going to pay that fixed amount which I am promising with you at the winding up of the company only. So which means guarantee is an amount which is promised by the members of the company that they are going to pay this much and that much amount according to the individual. It varies on individual, and they promised already. So this guaranteed amount is mentioned within the memorandum of association of company, that how much a particular member will be going to pay at the winding up of company. Okay, so this guarantee is the amount which is paid at the time of winding up only, so that you need to remember. Okay, so I'm reading it again. It refers to the amount which a member promised to pay as a liability at the time of winding up only. Okay, so now you're going to getting a view that what is company limited by guarantee, which means that type of a company in which the members already gave the guarantee, and that guarantee was already shown in the memorandum of association of the company. So I wrote here within the notes that in these types of companies, liability of each member is different because every member give different amount of guarantee. Yes, understood. And it is decided on the basis of members voluntary decision, which means every member has its voluntary decision that how much amount they want to pay as a guarantee amount at the time of winding up. So it is totally a very voluntary decision that how much they want to pay at the time of winding up. Let's take an example. Let's say XYZ Limited company is a company limited by guarantee. Okay, now A, B and C are three members. A already said that I am going to pay 100 rupees. B already said that I am going to pay 80 rupees. C already said that I am going to pay 60 rupees at the time of winding up only. Now all these guaranteed amount or all these promises of paying these respective amounts at the time of winding up by these respective members are already mentioned in the MOA of the company priorly, by which if these members refuse to pay at the time of winding up, then the company can show them this MOA that you were the one who actually promised us to pay that much amount of liability at the time of winding up of company. So now you all cannot refuse to pay that much amount. Okay, understood. Another point about company limited by guarantee is that these companies may have share capital or may not have share capital. So it is not mandatory whether they can generate share capital or whether they cannot as well. Okay. And what is the motive of company limited by guarantee? So the main motive of these types of company is not to earn profit. They are just promoting the educational and scientific research, or they want to do any social work. So this is the main motive of this type of company. Okay. Example, let's say NGO. Generally there are very few company who are these types of companies within India, but I'll find out, or I had already find out an example, which is a company present in India named as Teach for India. So you can also see by its name that it is looking totally like a NGO or non-profit organization. So company limited by guarantee are majorly connected with non-profit organization. Okay. Now we are moving up towards our third company, or you can say the second subdivision of registered company, that is unlimited company. Now unlimited company is defined as per section 2 subsection 92 of Indian Companies Act 2013. Now what is the meaning of unlimited company? As we can totally recognize with its name, unlimited. So which means the type of company in which the liability of member is unlimited. So liabilities of members are unlimited, first point. Second is that liability of each member is up to the extent of company's debt and liabilities. Now if you see within the limited company, the liability of the member is restricted towards the amount or the capital which they invested within the company. But here the liability of each member is up to the extent of company's debt and liabilities, which means the liability of every member is unlimited. So how much the company is in debt, the members has to play a role of companion to pay that liability for the company. But within the case of limited company, it was not the same case. Yes, in that case the members are just only liable to pay that much amount which they invested within the company. Clear? Third point, AOA, which means that within the unlimited company, or if you are saying that your company is unlimited, then in that case a unlimited company has to present or articulate the number of members within their company at the time of registration within their AOA, which means an unlimited company should have to articulate or show the number of members at the time of registration within their AOA, and along with that they have to show that how much amount of share capital they are going to issue at the time of registration or after the registration. So they have to mention a specific limit which they cannot exceed. So these two things they have to mention within their AOA if they want to consider as a unlimited company. Fourth point is that unlimited company can generate share capital or cannot, which means it may or may not have share capital. So it is not mandatory. If they want to, then they can. If they don't want to, then it is totally voluntary, but it is not restricted for them. They may or they may not. Okay. And the fifth point is it can reduce or increase its share capital without restriction. So it is a privilege for an unlimited company that they can, whenever they want to reduce or whenever they want to increase their share capital, they can increase and reduce without any restriction. An example of an unlimited company in India is Discovery Committee India Private Company. So it is generally these types of companies are very rare because even the members should not want to be a part of these types of companies. And generally there are very few and rare companies in India who are or who get a tag of unlimited company. But I actually found one example, and this is real example. So don't think that I'm just hypothetically making all these types of companies. No, this is a real company and this is a real example of unlimited company. Okay, so this is all about unlimited company. Now let's jump on to the further two subdivisions of both limited and unlimited company. So as I already mentioned that private and public company are the subdivisions of both limited and unlimited. So if you are a little bit confused about this, I'm just clearing it by one sentence that private and public company is the subdivision of both limited company and unlimited company. So it is not mandatory that whether a private company or public company is only there within the case of limited company. No, it can be there within the case of unlimited company as well. So you don't have to worry and create a dilemma within your mind about the bifurcation of private and public company. Okay. So now understand, this is very simple topic. What is private company? So private company is defined as per section 2 subsection 68 of the Indian Companies Act 2013. So first of all, a private company has restriction on transfer of shares, which means that a private company cannot transfer shares. So there is total restriction on transferring the shares. Second, prohibition on issue of shares, which means a private company cannot issue shares and cannot invite public to subscribe their shares and generate share capital for them. Okay. And third, minimum number of members to make a private company is 2. There is one exceptional case of this, that is one person company, which we will be going to cover within the upcoming videos. But I just only tell you the exceptional case because then sometimes children also get a false view within their mind that company cannot make with one member. Okay. And maximum number of members within a private company can be 200, excluding the past and present employees. It is very important. Okay. Now let's talk about the second subdivision of limited and unlimited company both, that is public company. And public company is defined as per section 2 subsection 71 of Indian Companies Act 2013. Now the definition which I wrote here of public company, that is as per the section of the Indian Companies Act 2013, which means it is as per the law. So this definition is the official definition of public company as per the law. So, and even I want to give you one advice, and which you can take. Of course, this is a recommendation from my side, that if you are writing a definition of any company as per the section and mentioning the section that according to this section of Indian Companies Act 2013, then you cannot do any change within your definition from your side. Then you cannot write the definition within your own words. Remember that, because when you are mentioning within your exam that I am writing this definition according to this particular section of this particular act, then you have to write the same definition which is there given within your book. So don't think that I can manipulate the definition at that point of time. So I'll give you a advice that please don't try to write a definition as per the section until and unless you are totally confident that you're going to write the correct definition. Okay, you can mention the section as I mentioned within the private company. This definition is not as per this section, but I actually mentioned the section here to showcase my knowledge. If I'm giving the exam in front of examiner, so then examiner get a view that okay, this student doesn't write the definition as per this section, but the student know that by which section the definition is given. Okay, so this is my advice to you all. Now it depends upon how you are thinking, and it depends individual to individual. Okay, now let's understand what is the meaning of public company. So as per the Companies Act 2013, a public company is first of all not a private company. This is the official definition, okay, as per this particular section of Companies Act 2013. So as per Companies Act, a public company is not a private company first. B is a company which is subsidiary of a company which is not a private company, which means which is a part of a company which is not a private company. So you cannot say that a company cannot be a public company. First of all, if it is a private company, it is just a no-brainer. And second, if any company is connected with a private company, then you cannot say that company a public company. Connect means the subsidiary company. Now, this is very difficult for me to actually teach you here at this point, because this is a type of another company, subsidiary company. So when I will be covering this subsidiary company now, then you will get a view about that what I'm saying within this point. But now you can understand, just for a little bit understanding point of view, that public company is a company which is not a part of a private company. Okay, so you can understand subsidiary company as a part of a private company. Done? Clear. Minimum number of members within a public company are 7, and maximum number of members are unlimited, which means there is no restrictions on maximum numbers of members. Okay, transferability of shares is totally possible, which means that a public company can transfer their shares, and even there is no prohibition on inviting the public to issue their shares. So this is totally not illegal for a public company, which means a public company have a lot of privileges which they are getting, like transferability of shares, inviting public to subscribe shares and debentures. So they have a lot of different sources to generate capital for them, and which is a very nice benefit for the public company as compared to the private company, because private company doesn't have any transferability of shares, have prohibition of issuing, or prohibition of issuing the shares and debentures, securities you can say in one word. And even they don't have the extent of entering unlimited members within their company as a public company have. Okay, so these are some benefits which a public company get over a private company. So due to that reason, there are some privileges and exemptions of private company. Now what is the meaning of privilege? You all know that there are some additional benefits, because public company was getting all the benefits. So then the law said that why on earth the private company is not getting the benefit, so let's give them some benefits as well. And what is the meaning of exemption? This is a very important word with an income tax subject, which I had already studied, but you will be going to study within your semester 5th. So exemption means some like choot. So exemption means some relief. Okay, so some privileges and reliefs are given to the private company. Now what are these advantages, or what are these privileges? First, members, which means that it can be formed with only 2 members as per section 3, which a public company doesn't have. Okay, second is prospectus, which means a private company doesn't need to issue any prospectus, because of course it don't have any right to even issue the securities as well, but it doesn't need any prospectus to issue. So that is a privilege for a private company. Now there are some exemptions, there are some relief regarding the director which are given to the private companies. Now what are these exemptions? First, a private company may have 2 directors. Okay, second, a private company is not required to appoint independent directors. Now see, this is a very in-depth view, because independent directors can be very harmful for the company, not in a very bad sense but in a very positive sense, because independent directors are those which generally work for the interest of all the stakeholders who are working with the private company. But because it is not mandatory to appoint independent directors here in case of private company, so private company can do all the kinds of loopholes which is more easier for private company. So therefore it is considered as a privilege or relief. Okay, director of private company need not to retire by rotation, that is also an exemption. Maximum number of director in a private company can be 20 directors, while within a public company it is I think 10 directors. So that is also a privilege given to private company. A private company is not required to constitute an audit committee of the board. See how much important this privileges or this exemption is. So these are the types of privileges and exemptions which are given to the private company for actually competing with the public company, in a sense, because public company was getting a lot of benefits, because they have a lot of sources for raising the capital, because they can issue the securities, they can transfer the shares, which a private company cannot do. So therefore private company also gets some privileges and exemptions, or you can say reliefs, by the Companies Act 2013, which I mentioned here. So you can study these as well. Okay, now let's jump onto the most important two topics related to private and public company, that is the conversion of a private company into a public company and vice versa. So these two topics are very important, so please don't leave them and watch the video till the end. Now these two topics are very important from your exam point of view, that how to convert a private company into public company and how to convert the vice versa of the previous topic. Of course, I will be making the videos on the most important topics and most important questions as well on company law, and I will ensure you that I will be going to give you such kind of strategy, or you can say all the important topics by which you can score almost more than 50% marks with just a boom with that one video, which I will be uploading of course near the examination. So please subscribe the channel first. And along with that, because I also performed very nicely within my company law exam, so I have that prior experience about the topics which are the most important one. So please connected with the channel as long as you can. So let's continue our topic. So the first topic which we are going to study related to conversion is conversion of a private company into public company. Now we already got a view about what is a private company and what is a public company. But now we are going to understand that how to convert a private company into public company. Okay. So first of all, conversion by provision of Section 14 of Companies Act 2013, which means conversion of a private company into public company is mentioned as per Section 14 of Companies Act 2013. So which means if we want to convert, we can convert by the provision of Section 14 of Companies Act 2013. Understood? Now what are the steps? First of all, pass a special resolution, which means pass a special resolution to alter AOA. What is the meaning of this word alter? Alter means to change. See, whenever a private company was made, it has to give all the information within the AOA, that whether it don't have any transferability of shares, it cannot issue any securities. But because now we are converting a private company into public company, so first of all we need to do all those changes within our article of association, and therefore for doing the changes within this document, we need to, or a private company need to pass a special resolution. So you heard every time that a special resolution. What is this special resolution and why we are passing it? We are passing this special resolution for altering or for making changes within the article of association. So that is the motive of passing a special resolution. So first of all, private company pass a special resolution to do changes in article of association. Then second step, filing of altered AOA, which means the AOA now which is already altered, which is already changed, and the changes are already done within that AOA. Filing, we need to do the filing of that altered AOA with a copy of that special resolution which we passed here in the first step in the form of INC 27. It is a form INC 27. So what we have to do, we have to file the altered AOA which we do in the first step. Then we need to also take a copy of that special resolution which we passed in the form INC 27, and to whom we have to give all these documents to ROC, Registrar of Companies, within 15 days of passing the special resolution. So these are the 2 points which a private company should perform if it want to convert within a public company. And the company shall cease to be a private company, which means after passing this special resolution or after doing all the steps, the company cannot be considered as a private company from that date if the AOA is already altered. Okay, so this is a very small process of converting a private company into public company, and maybe you all get understand that how even we can change a private company into public company and how we can write in the answer as well. Now second process is conversion of a public company into private company. It is a little bit lengthier process as compared to a private to public company. Why? Because a public company has a lot of privileges which they already shown within their AOA. So now they need to do some lot more changes within their AOA. Within case of a private company should have to add on some characteristics now, like transferability of shares can be doable, remove the prohibition of issuing of securities. But because now it is already a public company, so we need to take all the rights away from this public company to convert it in a private company. So now this process can be done as per the provision of Section 14 of Indian Companies Act 2013. Same. Okay. Now what is first step? Pass a special resolution to do changes in AOA of public company. Which means if we want to convert a public company into a private company, we need to change its AOA, because its AOA is the mirror of the public company, which shows that what are the rights which a public company has. But now because it want to be converted in a private company, so all the characteristic of a public company should be undermined. Yes, so for that, for doing that, first of all pass a special resolution. Second, approval of central government, which means now in the second step approval of central government is needed. And how we can take that approval? For taking the approval, we should have to write a application in a very prescribed form with a prescribed fee to regional director, which means for taking the approval of central government, the public company should have to write an application within a very specified manner or format with a very specified fee, which they have to submit to the regional director. Then third step, declaration by a KMP. What is the meaning of KMP? Key managerial personnel. So declaration by a KMP which state that number of members shall limit to 200 members, which means, because as we all know that within a private company, the limit of member is 200. So now because the public company is changing into a private company, so it should be declared that the company in which we are changing now, the limit of that company will be 200 members. So that declaration should be done by a important employee of that company, like board of director or manager. So that is known as key managerial personnel, which state, which means which declare that that the number of members shall limit to 200 members. And after all, the fourth step is a list of creditors and debentures holders of company should be filed with an application to regional director. So all the debenture holders and creditors who are already within the contact of the public company, which now will be going to convert in a private company, all those list of creditors and debentures should be filed with an application to the regional director, that they were the debenture holders and creditors who were connected with that public company, which now we want to convert in a private company. And the last step will be filing the copy of all the documents which we actually took within the preceding four steps, which means filing of a copy of that approval, which we did within the second step, copy of altered AOA, which we did within the first step by passing a special resolution, copy of SR in prescribed form to ROC within 15 days after approval of central government. Then a public company will be converted into a private company. So that is all for this video. I hope that you all students who are watching this video till then, they like this video. If you like the video, you see I'm doing a lot of hard work for you all. Even I have my 6th semester and I'm also going to college regularly, and even that I'm taking my time to make the videos, because some of the students are commenting that bhaiya, please don't see the response now, you just make the video and after that you will see the magic of your hard work. And that what I want to tell you all, that please do hard work with consistency, then you will get the result or the fruitful result within the result of your examination. You will be thinking that all the other students are not studying, so why should we have to study? But see, that is the difference which you are going to create as compared to all other students which are not doing that which is required as per where you are, because everybody don't get a seat of Delhi University and even of any university. So you are lucky enough to sit within a university, whether it is due or whether it is any university, because that needs a lot of finance. And if you like my effort, please, yeah, like the video, subscribe the channel and share with your all friends. This video is a little bit longer, but if I have to clear the concept, it has to be this much extended. Okay, and the remaining companies like OPC, one person company, dormant company, government company, producer company, all these types of companies are also remaining. So tell me that how will I upload the videos about these companies, because I'm thinking that I have to upload one video for every company, by which I will teach you with a lot more clearer view about those companies. So please let me know in the comment box. If you like the video, please hit the subscribe button, and thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.